The Bavarian Alps offers a mix of nature, adventure and cultural charm. During our weekend getaway, we explored picturesque villages with traditional Bavarian architecture, hiked through a gorge with hanging walkways and waterfalls, visited an eccentric Bavarian king's palace and admired the emerald green water at the foot of the Zugspitze, Germany's highest mountain. Come along and explore some of the beautiful Bavarian Alps with us.
We've left Munich, we're currently driving south, and we're actually going to be crossing the border slightly into Austria, and we will be doing a walk. Looked it up on Google Maps. Apparently there's some kind of boardwalks down by a river, some waterfalls, and it looks really pretty, so we are heading there now. And then I think we're probably going to come back into Germany, go to, you remember the Mittenwald, which is a small town. Have a look around there. There's an old town, and maybe get some food or a beer there before checking into our hotel later on.
So that was an interesting last part of the trip. Nice and windy, beautiful mountain scenery as we got up here. Temperatures dropped dramatically now. I think it was about 5 or 6 degrees when we left Munich, but now I think it's about 0. A little bit of snow around underfoot. We don't really have the right shoes for this walk. We didn't bring our big boots because we were on hand luggage today. So we'll see how we get on. Could be a bit slippery, but let's go and enjoy the views here. Where are we? By the car park there. Okay. Hour and a half, you say?
Oh.
Okay.
Because we want to do all the bridges and...
Yeah. Right, yo, let's go. The gorge and waterfall, I won't even attempt to pronounce, is a breathtaking natural wonder located on the border region between Bavaria, Germany and the Tyrol, Austria. The turquoise river has carved the gorge over many thousands of years, creating stunning views, thrilling walkways and a glimpse into the power of nature. This area boasts dramatic rock formations, cascading waterfalls and crystal clear water. The waterfall trail takes you deep into the gorge, offering close-up views. The network of walkways and bridges, some clinging to the cliff face, provide an adrenaline rush as you traverse the chasm. Certainly not one for those with a fear of heights. Enjoy the next few minutes as we crunch through the snow and enjoy the sounds of the rushing water. From this point, it's possible to walk right into the German town of Mittenwald, and you can also walk from the town straight to here. But we'll circle back over the bridge on the route up into the forest away from the gorge and grab some much needed warmth from the sun as we return to our car. Well, that took about an hour to do, not too bad. I said it was free, but I mean they do charge €6 for parking, which is a little bit steep because it's only taken us just over an hour. But nevertheless, lovely little walk. It reminded me actually of Johnston's Canyon in Canada when we were on that trip. And if you haven't seen that video, go take a look. That is an amazing walk. Really, really beautiful. So do check that one out. But we're going to cross back over the border because we're in Austria just for a second. We're about 1 kilometre into Austria. We'll head back into Germany and we'll have a look at that town or village of Mittenwald. So we'll check that out. I know we have said the name of this town numerous ways, but I'm reliably informed it's Mittenwald. It is surrounded by stunning alpine scenery, with the towering Karwendel Mountains providing a dramatic backdrop. We are here in mid-November, and unbeknown at time of booking, this period is between seasons, and so we're unaware that actually a number of places would be closed. Signs on some shops and restaurants mentioned reopening the first week of December, so if you do visit, make sure you check. We didn't find it too much of a disadvantage, and it did make it lovely and quiet. Whilst the selection of places to eat is somewhat limited, we did manage during our weekend away. You can catch the train here from central Munich in around 1 hour and 50 minutes, about the same amount of time it takes to drive, or from Innsbruck, Austria in about 1 hour. The brightly painted buildings are a hallmark of Bavarian folk art. First and foremost, the paintings are beautiful and exquisitely painted. They add vibrant colour and charm to the town, making it a visually delightful place to explore. Many of the frescoes depict scenes from the Bible, local legends, historical events, or even the owner's professional family history. They essentially turn the buildings into open-air storybooks, reflecting the cultural heritage of the region. That's good. Okay, I think we've definitely got to have the currywurst and chips. And a beer.
Rotisserie chicken is going on next door. Rules.
Well, that was a very nice currywurst. Sorry, we had to stop. We can't resist one every time we come to Germany. Before us is the Church of Peter and Paul. The original church was built in the 8th century, and the current one built between 1734 and 1749 by Josef Schmutzer, a master builder from Wessobrunn. The famous frescoes are by Matthias Gunther, painted with the church patrons Peter and Paul. Let's see if we can have a look around inside. Mittenwald's history dates back to Roman times, when it was an important trade route. In the Middle Ages, it became an important centre for river rafting and trade. However, it was the rise of violin making in the 17th century that truly put Mittenwald on the map. Matthias Klotz was considered the founder of the Mittenwald school of violin making. Matthias learned his craft and established his workshop in his hometown in 1684. His son Sebastian is often considered the most talented violin maker in the Klotz family. He inherited his father's workshop and refined the family's techniques. His instruments are highly sought after today for their exquisite craftsmanship and beautiful sound. You'll see references to the violin all around town. Today, Mittenwald remains an important centre for violin making, and visitors can visit a museum, but as we were out of season, it was closed during our trip. Whilst we only spent a few hours here, it does highlight what a great day out this could be from Munich. You can arrive by train in under 2 hours, explore the colourful town, have some lunch, and then walk it off at the gorge, which is only 15 minutes walk from the centre. It could be a delightful day, and you'd be back in Munich by the evening.
That was a nice walk around Mittenwald. We now need to move on and check into our hotel at Granu. We think it might be pronounced, we're not sure. But it's about half an hour away from here. Another pretty village, so let's go and check that out.
Okay, so the village is called Granau, and it's in the Garmisch-Partenkirchen district, right at the foot of Germany's highest peak, Zugspitze. It's a popular destination for those seeking stunning natural beauty and outdoor activities like skiing, cycling or hiking. Eibsee Lake is just a few kilometres away and arguably Germany's most beautiful lake. We'll be hiking that a little later. The streets are virtually deserted and nothing much is open, but we don't mind that. We're not really shoppers and the quiet roads allow us to film unobstructed. Let's have a wander around this pretty Bavarian village, but remember we are here out of season and it's much quieter than it would normally be.
The village is most lively during peak seasons December through March and July and August. For details about events, attractions, dining and outdoor activities during these times, do visit this website. When I was having a browse, I noticed that the last week of February and the first week of March seems to be carnival time, with events and street parades with local traditions, music and revelry. Locals wear wood-carved faces in a parade. These masks have been handed down through families for decades and centuries. So whilst we're showing you a peaceful Greenough, it really will be full of life in a few weeks. Our hotel was in an elevated location about 5 minutes from the centre. The Waxenstein Hotel had typical Alpine charm and cost us €283 for 2 nights mid-November with breakfast. As you can see, the views from the windows of Zugspitze were wonderful, and we really enjoyed our stay in this traditional Bavarian hotel. Our room maintained this feel, and our balcony had lovely views. It was nightfall, so we decided to head down into town and find a place for dinner. We could have eaten in the hotel, and it does get good reviews, but it was more than we wanted to pay and a bit formal. God, it's quite busy in there already. The old bell's going. Right, should we try and we'll book a table? Yeah, I think we best book. Yeah, I think we best book. Let's book. At least we know.
I think it was great.
We're gonna book.
Really?
Pretty, isn't it? All right, so we are booked for dinner at 7:30, which is good because it's the only restaurant in town that is open at this time of year. We're sort of in between seasons. And the old bells are chiming. They're testing the old church bells tonight, which is good. But we're going to have a drink in the only bar that's open in this little village tonight. There we are. It's a sweet little bar though, isn't it? We had a few drinks whilst we waited for dinner. We couldn't easily film dinner without disturbing people, but were right to book as it was very busy. I had pork knuckle and Will had a meatball dish with mash that we can't remember the name of. Both were delicious and we came back a second night for more. They don't have a website to check menus, you can only book on the phone or in person, and it's cash only. We paid roughly €50 each night with drinks, so it's pretty reasonable. Well, it's a very crisp morning here. We're going to take the car out now and have a drive around and see some of the sights, so come with us, but we've just got to get the car defrosted. We're heading to Lake Eibsee. It's a 5-minute drive from Greenough, or you can hike it in around an hour. We have come early as it's a popular destination that people combine with a ride on the cable car to the top of Zugspitze.
This map of the lake shows it'll take 90 minutes to walk the 7.5 kilometres around Eibsee, so we better get started and share some of the highlights. We hope the sun will pop up over the mountain soon to flood us with some much needed warmth on this cold morning.
Well, that's the end of the trail, 7.5 kilometres. Yeah, it's taken about an hour and a half, as it said it would. Very, very beautiful. Now, we're going to see if we can possibly get up on the cable car. I'm not really too sure how much it is, so we'll see. If it's not too expensive, we'll pop up on the cable car and go right up the mountain. Well, 72 euros will get you to the top. That's the minimum charge per person. So we're looking at 150 euros for both of us to get up the top. Now, I'm sorry folks, that's just too much money. So we'll find something else to do.
With countless interesting places to visit, it wasn't a difficult decision. The town of Oberammergau sounded like it was worth exploring, so we took the pretty 30-minute drive to reach it, and parked just outside the centre by the River Ammer.
Well, we know absolutely nothing about this village that we've stopped in, but it looks quite pretty and we're a little bit hungry, so we'll grab something to eat and have a little look around. A random castle, yes. No idea what that is.
That building on the left resembles a castle and we're curious to know about it, but haven't found any information online. It possibly is simply a house designed to look like a castle, but if you have any information, please share it in the comments. As we walked down by the river, we were feverishly looking for somewhere for lunch, and Google pointed us to an Italian restaurant that might be open, so we made our way there on the off chance it wasn't closed for the out of season period.
Closed up? Hey?
Can't tell.
Very nice. Well, that was a very nice pizza. Very large portions, but most enjoyable. We really enjoyed that. I think it was about 41 euros with the beers as well. So, not bad. And we gave a tip, so. Right, let's have a little look around the centre.
Oberammergau boasts a wealth of artistic heritage. The village is another location renowned for its fresco paintings, adorning the facades of houses and buildings. Additionally, it has a long-standing tradition of wood carving, with numerous workshops showcasing intricate creations ranging from religious figures to decorative objects. So it's the perfect place to pick something up and take it home to cherish. The town's most famous claim to fame is the Passion Play, a theatrical performance depicting the life and death of Jesus Christ. This event has been held every 10 years since 1634, a tradition born out of a vow made by the villagers to God, pleading for deliverance from the bubonic plague. The play involves over 2,000 local residents who act, sing and play instruments, making it a truly community-driven spectacle. The next one takes place in 2030. Just a 15-minute drive from Oberammergau, nestled in the lush Grasvang Valley, is Lindenhof Palace. We'd noticed a sign to the palace during our drive, and whilst it was too late for today, managed to book tickets online for the following morning before we returned to Munich to catch our flight home. Having checked out of our hotel as we were flying home that evening, a visit to Linderhof would be our last bit of exploring before driving back to Munich. Parking was chargeable even if you had an entrance ticket. As you can see from the map, the grounds are quite extensive, so bring some comfortable shoes and be prepared to walk.
So we bought our tickets online last night. They were €9.60 each, and that includes access to the park and then the English guided tour around the palace. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that we can actually film inside the palace. We'll see what happens, but we're going to have a look around the grounds first because it's about 50 minutes before we're due at the palace for our tour.
It's about a 10-minute walk from the ticket office to the palace, so this will give us a moment to introduce you to King Ludwig II. He was born in 1845 and ascended to the throne in 1864 at the age of 18. During his time as king, he became known as the Swan King or the Fairy Tale King due to his whimsical vision and extravagant tastes. He hated living in Munich and the endless royal social events and much preferred the Bavarian Alp air, space and seclusion. Ludwig undertook many creative projects during his reign, primarily focused on the construction of castles. Whilst the incredible Neuschwanstein and Herrenchiemsee Palace were also significant undertakings, Linderhof Palace was the only one of his major projects that he saw completed during his lifetime. His father, Maximilian II, originally had a hunting lodge on the site of the palace, a familiar retreat for Ludwig from his childhood. He was drawn to the secluded location and the natural beauty of the surrounding landscape. In 1869, Ludwig started to expand the lodge, creating his vision and eventually making the lodge superfluous. With an emotional attachment to the place, he had his father's lodge moved to this spot 200 metres from the palace and renamed it the Royal Lodge. Initially, Ludwig envisaged a grand palace inspired by Versailles, but the challenging terrain led him to scale down his ambitions. Instead, he drew inspiration from the Petit Trianon at Versailles and the Palace of Marly-le-Roi, aiming to create a more intimate and personal retreat, lavishly decorated in the Rococo style, reflecting Ludwig's admiration for French kings, particularly Louis XIV.
So what becomes quite clear is that there's lots of wooden boxes covering all of the ornate masonry and sculptures to keep them protected over winter, and the fountains have all been stopped, presumably obviously because of the freezing and stuff like that, which is a real shame. So do consider that before coming at this time of year. I mean, we didn't particularly have any plans to come. It was just we saw it en route and we thought we'd stop, so we're not making a special effort to be here, but nevertheless just be mindful of that. As soon as winter comes, all of the ornate items are going to get boxed up and you're not going to be able to see them.
The surrounding gardens are a masterpiece of landscape design, blending formal French elements with the natural beauty of the alpine setting. I know it's hard to envisage today in this winter setting. They were designed under the direction of Ludwig's court garden director Karl von Effner between 1874 and 1880. Rising up the hillside behind the palace are the terrace gardens, offering panoramic views of the surrounding landscape. They are adorned with statues, fountains, and a round temple. The crowning feature of the terrace is the round Greek temple with a larger-than-life marble figure of Venus flanked by 2 cherubs. King Ludwig's life was a fantastical blend of art, architecture and eccentricity. His death, however, is a chilling mystery. On June the 13th, 1886, Ludwig and his psychiatrist Dr. Gutten were found dead in Lake Starnberg. Officially, it was suicide by drowning, but doubts persist. Ludwig was a strong swimmer and his lungs reportedly contained no water. Was he murdered? Did he die accidentally? His extravagant spending had made him political enemies, fueling assassination theories. Perhaps a struggle with Dr. Gutten led to a fatal accident. Despite investigations, the truth remains unknown. The lack of evidence only deepens the mystery, making Ludwig's death as captivating and enigmatic as his life. The Neptune fountain with cascade on the north side of the palace was used to create a cascade which flows over 30 steps down to a group with Neptune. I am sure this looks absolutely spectacular when it's in full flow. The oldest building in the Lindershof Palace complex is St. Anna Chapel, built in 1684. You can only peer in through a perspex window. The interior of this little church dedicated to Mother of Mary was redesigned and fitted with stained glass windows under the direction of Ludwig. It's now time for us to take our tour inside the palace.
So there we are, no filming inside unfortunately. We had to stop as soon as we went through the doors. Absolutely incredible in there. 360 square meters of space, 5 kg of gold leaf used, vases. The rooms are so ornate, it's quite incredible, but you'll have to come here and see it for yourself. Well, that's it from our Bavarian weekend away. Hope you've enjoyed coming along with us. Do subscribe and give us a like if you enjoyed this video. Join us again on the next one, wherever that may be. But we'll see you soon. Take care. Thank you for watching.